Hey everybody, how's it going? This is the Scrapper Tap Podcast, and I'm Jared Cole. And first and foremost, I want to just wish and hope everybody is staying safe and healthy out there. The most important thing right now with what we got going on is you keep your families safe. So, hope everybody is. But on the UFC, MMA, you know, we got UFC 249 is officially booked. It is going to be Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. April 18th for the interim lightweight title. Now, last week I was talking about this isn't really the fight I wanted to see, but Dana said, guess what? We getting that. We're going to make a fight happen no matter what. Khabib is out. There's no possibility he can make the fight. So Justin Gaethje stepped up, and honestly, I'm cool with it. I'm just want to see some fights. So, hey, that's going to be a hell of a scrap. No doubt about it. So, before I get into the predictions and my little breakdown on the main event, we're going to go over the pros and cons on why Tony Ferguson would take this fight in the first place. And, I strongly believe it has to do with money. So, Tony Ferguson, for the last couple years, has only been fighting one fight per year. And, man, it doesn't matter how much you're making in that one fight or if you're getting bonuses. Most fighters want more revenue than that. They want to be more active than that. So he says, Tony Ferguson's just that guy to say, why not take on Gaethje? And then in a couple months, I'll be ready to go. Well, September, October, whenever Khabib's able to, and this all clears up, this COVID-19 situation. He sees it as just, this is my personal opinion. He sees it as a paycheck before he can get that title fight. I don't think he thinks he's going to lose. Now, he better have respect for Gaethje going into it because Justin Gaethje can literally finish anybody in the division with one punch. He got that type of power. Another reason, Tony Ferguson is just a badass, man. He doesn't want to miss this opportunity. He was supposed to be main eventing this fight card, and he's sticking to it, man. And they threw up a name, and he signed the dotted line. So we got UFC 249, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. Now, before I go straight into the prediction, also I want to talk about what this means to the Khabib and Tony Ferguson fight that we've been wanting to see for a very long time. A few years now. It's a big speed bump, man. Because if Gaethje wins this fight, he deserves that Khabib shot. He's gonna most likely get the Khabib get a fight for the actual title against Khabib September, October, whenever they decide this all clears up and Khabib's done with Ramadan and he's free to fight. He's gonna get that shot. It kind of not make sense for Tony Ferguson to get that title shot off a loss, even though we've seen that happen recently in the UFC. And possibly again with Aldo getting a shot versus Henry Cejudo. But I don't see that likely. That'll take a lot of steam away from Tony Ferguson. So, if you're just looking at the title, it's not the smartest decision, but I'm sure he wants that paycheck. I think he obviously thinks he can take out Justin Gaethje and then boom, go into fighting Khabib for the actual title. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. For the main, I will have a full card prediction once they drop the full card. They have not released that yet as of this recording. And I've been thinking about it all day, kind of going back and forth. But what's really sticking out to me, I'm going to have to go with Tony Ferguson for the win. I think he's going to drag Justin Gaethje to the late rounds, 4th or 5th round. And possibly take him out. I'm seeing a TKO stoppage in the 4th or 5th. I think he's going to, grind, get him against the cage, get him with those elbows. I see this being a bloody war and him landing some good shots and elbows on Justin Gaethje. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of paths to victory for Justin Gaethje, man. He's a superior wrestler. I could see him taking him down, Tony Ferguson down, grinding him out, maybe some ground and pound and finishing it. But if you know Justin Gaethje, that's not how he usually fights, man. He's there to entertain. He's there to stand up and brawl, have a hell of a scrap, and I see that happening. Um, you know, he can literally land one punch and knock out and take down anybody in the lightweight division. And so there is past victory. I could see. I mean, I would not be surprised if Justin Gaethje ends it in the first or second round, just lands a great shot and, takes him down, possibly TKO or just straight up KOing Tony Ferguson. But that's not my prediction. That's not who I think is going to win it. I'm going to go with Tony Ferguson. Here's a couple reasons. Here's a couple other reasons. I'm thinking, his cardio is already solid, and I know so is Gaethje's, but Justin Gaethje's taking this on 2-week notice. Yeah, there was talks a couple weeks ago that he might be the one jumping in, so I'm sure he started getting to training, so maybe he has 4 weeks under his belt. But, I don't really know the conditions for his camp, and since COVID's going down, who knows if he has his full camp there, The thing with Tony Ferguson, he's very he has some wild training tactics, and I don't see that being an issue, even if he didn't have his full team there to train with him. I think he's still been grinding it out, and he's been ready to go for weeks now. This fight with Khabib has, it was announced months ago, so he had a long, solid training camp. I just see his conditioning, being a little bit better than Justin Gaethje's right now. I could be surprised, Justin could come in ready to roll as well, but I don't think so, and I think that's why he's gonna push. Justin Gaethje is gonna push for that first or second round knockout, and if he doesn't get it, man, you're in Tony Ferguson territory. He ain't gonna get tired in the third, fourth, or fifth. Those are the championship rounds, and I just see him finishing it there. If not, definitely winning by decision. But my official pick will be Tony Ferguson to the TKO stoppage against Justin Gaethje in UFC 249. I'm just glad Dana ended up booking this, making this official. He hasn't dropped the location, but he probably will the week of, because he probably doesn't want to do it too soon and then have a venue fold, and say they're not going to hold anything at their venue. I mean, we don't know, and they're still 2 weeks away, man. If something crazy happens and they cancel this, I wouldn't be surprised at this point, but I'm very glad to announce that UFC 249 will be going down, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje, and I got Tony Ferguson. This is the Scrapper Tap Podcast. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.